Everyone wants to make money, but not everyone is willing to go through the process which equips them with appropriate knowledge as well as the mindset to do so. Real estate has been one of the most proficient and productive methods of making some real money in the long term. Investing in property can sometimes be a tough cookie to swallow, but as according to Robert Kiyosaki, a legendary real estate investor, the richest people in the world build networks. Everyone else is trained to look for work. But you're thinking, how can you start earning with real estate even if you have no money, right? In this video, we are going to show you guys how anyone can start making money through real estate. But before we move on, make sure you press that like and subscribe buttons and press the bell icon because you surely don't want to miss out on some free knowledge. Putting first things first, you don't have to be rich in order to get started in real estate, folks. Simple as that. Robert Kiyosaki, in his famous book and the New York Times bestseller, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, puts it that Rich Dad says, "Those who control real estate control the world." Now, the beauty of real estate is that you actually use debt to get rich. According to Kiyosaki, you can actually use other people's money as a ladder to get rich. And that's not a treacherous act because you're going to pay back every penny once the profits start to roll in for you. You see, the world is riddled with people who are stuck in the rat race. They're working a 9-to-5 job and they're just stuck in the cycle. They wake up every day tired and exhausted. But due to the fear of going financially broke and ending up with no money in their pockets, they're forced to go to the office. And once they get their paycheck, they're overcome by the lust of spending that money to get their hands on some expensive stuff. So they end up struggling this way. Now, the main problem is that you don't have any money in your pocket. There are numerous investment deals that are taking place in the real estate market. The interesting thing is that most of these deals are achieved through traditional lenders and institutions like banks. You can always turn towards hard money lenders, private money lenders, wholesaling, equity partnerships, home equity, option to buy, seller financing, house hacking, government loans, microloans, and at last but not least, REITs. We're going to explain how some of these money lenders work so that everyone can start making money through real estate. One of the best ways through which you can start your journey in the real estate world is through private money lenders. These money lenders are usually individuals and businesses which are looking to finance investments in hope of a return. Also, these loans are generally comprised of their own set of criteria, including more fees and higher interest rates to deal with. When using these types of lenders, a good rule of thumb is to find homes that can be purchased for 50 cents on the dollar. Next up, we have the hard money lenders. Unlike private money, these hard money lenders set forth fees in the form of points. Ranging from 3 to 5, these points represent an added upfront percentage fee based on the borrowed amount. This is on top of the interest rates hard money lenders charge, which range between 10 and 18%. Fees and interest rates are not universal with hard private money lenders, so investors need to do their due diligence. As the introductory course to real estate investment, we're going to start with wholesaling. Like many of other ways, wholesaling does not require large sums of money in the form of a down payment. It simply depends on having the right numbers in place. Real estate wholesaling at its core consists of finding discounted properties, assigning the contract to a potential buyer and getting paid to do so. This option can opt if you can manage to get some loan. It can be from your relatives, family, or the bank. It may sound complex at the start, but believe it or not, if you're a beginner looking to get started in the real estate market, this is where to begin. Another great option to invest in real estate with little or no money is by using seller financing. Firstly, we need to understand how this works. Seller financing is not like traditional loans. It involves the buying of property from the homeowner or seller rather than a bank. And once the property is bought, the two sides make an agreement that determines an interest rate, repayments reschedule, and consequences of default that both parties have agreed upon. Next up, an alternative option for real estate investors with little or no money is home equity. We all know that property values have gone up in recent months, which could also mean that there is a surplus of capital in the market, and this option can be used to make some serious profits. Now, if you're opting for this route, you can use two options. Firstly, you can rewrite the first mortgage and do a cash-out refinance, or keep the first loan in place and then you can add a home equity line of credit. Moving on, one of the most reliable ways of starting your journey in the real estate world is through government loans. Now, government loans are the best resource made available to investors today. There are many programs initiated by the government, such as the FHA loans, USDA loans, VA loans, Native American direct loans, and so on. But there's one thing that needs to be considered before you start considering this method as a life savior. It needs to be understood that government loans can take months to get approved. Another problem is that when you acquire the VA loans, for example, it will only be applied to one loan at a time. On the other hand, the FHA loans tend to coincide with loans durations that are considerably longer, and this can be a problem for many investors. Moving on to the real estate investment trusts, also known as the REITs, and these trusts are probably the most famous in the real estate world. So what happens is that there's a pool of investors, and these investors are actually putting their money in a trust, which will be used to buy some real estate properties. Profits are made when the properties which are bought are either rented out or sold at higher rates. These trusts often invest in different locations, which helps diversify their options. So if you can somehow get your hands on some money by acquiring a loan, these trusts can be a great way. Many beginners are uncomfortable purchasing physical properties during the start of their investing career, and the REITs actually provide such investors with great opportunities in the form of the shares they can buy and get into an REIT. At last but not least, we have the microloans. Due to the situation of the economy, real estate investors are dependent on the larger picture of the economic conditions, and the economy also determines how real estate investors should carry out their businesses. Microloans will always remain viable options. These types of loans are issued by individuals as opposed to banks and credit unions, and hence, these types of loans are another branch of peer-to-peer lending. These loans can be issued by an individual, or they can also be aggregated by various investors out there. These loans are probably the most popular in today's world as they can be acquired quickly, and people don't have to go through complexities. Microloans are also better concerning the interest rate we have to pay back to the lender, as the lender in principle is mostly closely acquainted and understands the situation an investor is in. So, these are some ways through which you can start earning in the real estate world. Let us know about your views in the comment section below. Press the like and subscribe buttons because your constant support motivates us to do even better in the future. Even better.